What has been your worst date experience? Oh, so TMI. You guys just want to know my life. The tea is I'm not dating right now, so I've not really had to balance anything. Do you believe in dating apps? Oh, guys, I've dibbled and I've dabbled. Was your surgery painful? Yeah, it's tattoo tour. Surprise, surprise. I actually got some tattoos after graduating. Can you see that? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you see my face, my name is Aleesha and I am a management consultant. Oh my gosh, I think that's the first time I've ever said that in my intro. We're moving on up in the world, we're moving up. Today I am filming a massive Q&A. A few months ago I put up a Q&A box on Instagram, where is my phone, called Spicy Q&A. And I just got all of the most random questions from you guys and thought that I would answer them today in a big fat video and address everything that you guys have been asking me. I feel like there's been like a lot of big changes in my life lately, so I feel like a lot of the questions naturally are around my new job, the jaw surgery that I did, and graduating from university. I've tried to group them all together and wrote them down on my laptop. I'll be answering them in categories. You know, the consultant in me has to make everything organized. So anyway, let's get into it. The first category is university. These are all the questions that I got surrounding uni. So the first one was, how has the adjustment been from graduating to adult life and work? Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that's probably been one of the most difficult parts, especially when you're at uni. You don't really have a routine. You wake up randomly, you wake up at 1 p.m, 2 p.m, just whenever your lecture is. And I feel like not having that routine to now going into having a routine is quite a tricky adjustment. I'll speak on this again when I've been in my job for a little bit longer and see how I'm finding it, but I just want to focus like the first half of the year on settling into my job and adjusting to that routine of waking up early and being in the office all day. So that side of things has been tricky. I think one of the more positive side of things is finally getting paid, which is nice. The broke uni student days are behind me, thank God. I think just actually being able to do something tangible, because when you're at university, for me anyway, everything felt like super theoretical all the time. What I was learning didn't really matter. Sometimes I struggled with that because it made me think, what am I doing? And a lot of the time as well, I don't feel like I actually learned that much. It felt like in my entire 3 years of my degree, I really didn't learn that much, which sounds bad, but I think it's just because I prefer learning on the job whilst actually applying it to a real world situation rather than being lectured to. I preferred like my learning style in sixth form and secondary school because it was more hands-on, whereas university is a lot of lectures and independent reading. Now it actually feels like I'm learning quite a lot because in my job I'm doing a lot of Excel and PowerPoint, learning Python, and I think it's incredible to be able to learn those skills in such a fast-paced environment. The next question is, do I miss university? I do a little bit, even though I just said all of that. I miss the social side because obviously, as you know from my YouTube channel, I was very diehard LSE girl. I did actually love university. I miss just being with my friends all the time, the social aspect, just the more sort of chill aspect. But I think I am actually enjoying working as well. I've been surprised at how much I've actually been able to see my friends. If you actually make the time for it, you're still able to be in touch with people. So I feel like it's like a yes and no. Would you ever do a master's? Yeah, I would absolutely love to go back into education at some point. I think maybe an MBA would be helpful for me considering what I want to do. We'll see how that goes. If you could redo one thing about your university experience, what would it be? That's a really good question actually. I think I'd probably focus a little bit more on the degree because I think the things that I did well, which were obviously very helpful, is the career side of things. So I feel like I was involved in a lot of societies. I was obviously doing YouTube, I was doing public speaking, school speaking, going to networking events, internships, spring weeks, all of the extra stuff I feel like I had on lock, which I think is really important. And I think not a lot of people tell you this about university, is that sometimes those extra things are more important in terms of helping you secure a job. Everybody has a degree, and once you're at a top university as well, what would set you apart is those extra things that you do. If you have a first, or if you have a 2-1 from somewhere like LSE or King's or Cambridge, UCL, all these type of universities, then it's not really that much of a difference. Whereas if you actually have the careers experience, that is what is going to set you apart and help you get a job. There's been so many graduates coming out from Oxford and Cambridge with first class degrees that are struggling to get a job because the job market is just so dire right now, freezing recruitment cycles and everything. So I am glad that I did that, but I think in hindsight like it would have been nice to engage a little bit more with the degree content rather than just only doing the extra stuff and then frantically doing my uni work last minute when an exam came up. If I was to do it again, I probably would just engage a little bit more with the content. The next category is about my job. So I mentioned at the start of the video that I'm a management consultant now. So there's a lot of questions on that. The first question is, will you be starting work soon? I've started my job now. I've been in my job officially for 3.5 weeks at the time of filming this. It's not been too long, so I won't give like my full opinion on things yet, but I will definitely film some more videos as time goes on. I did take quite a big gap after graduating. Obviously, I had my operation in October last year, so 2024, and I graduated in like June 2024. Because of my operation, I didn't start working in September when you would normally start, so I ended up starting quite late. So I started in February to allow myself to fully recover, and at the time it was a little bit difficult having that gap financially. I'm really glad that I did it. Firstly, I was fortunate enough that I had the scholarship from LSE and the internship before, because I was able to like use my savings to help me like get through that time period of work. Secondly, it actually allowed me to start my podcast. I am grateful for having that time off, otherwise I would not have been able to start the podcast. The next question was, what do you do for work on a day-to-day, or what is a typical day in the life of a consultant? As a junior consultant, there's 5 common day-to-day responsibilities that you would have. The first one is data analysis, which mostly happens in Excel. That could include manipulating data sets, conducting statistical analysis, creating financial models, and creating charts that will be then used in presentations. The second area that you might do quite often as a junior consultant is creating PowerPoints. Essentially, we work on projects for clients that come to our company with a problem that they need solving. That problem could be they are not profitable anymore in an area of their business, or they want to merge with another business. The problems can really range, and these clients will range from different industries. Typically, consultants will deliver that solution in the form of a final deliverable, which is a PowerPoint deck. My role as a junior consultant would be contributing to those PowerPoint presentations. So that would include creating slides from internal meeting notes, project updates, different research areas, and summarizing lots of data and insights, strategic recommendations into visually appealing and concise slides, which will then be presented to the client, which I find quite fun because it allows me to be quite creative actually. The third area is conducting research. That will be gathering information from a variety of sources, both internal and external, including industry reports, academic journals, and market analyses to support the project objectives and client briefs. The fourth area is meetings. So there's a lot of meetings for consultants. They can be both with clients or internally with your partners on your project or your managers on your project, where you might be sharing like some research that you did and updating them. In those meetings, it's typical that as a junior consultant, you'll be taking meeting notes. You'll make sure that they're very concise and clear, and then circulate those to everyone involved after the meeting. And then the fifth area is just collaborating with different people on your team and different clients. So consulting is a very team-oriented career. So on your team, you'll have partners, managers, and as a junior consultant, your job is to collaborate with them, find out your tasks from them, prioritize your tasks based on what they give you, that sort of thing. Hopefully that answers the question. In terms of what my day-to-day actually looks like, obviously I would be doing those responsibilities. In terms of timings, I would wake up pretty early, or early for me anyway, around 7, get to the office for 9 a.m, between 9 and 10 a.m. Then I'll be working up until maybe 1 p.m, take an hour lunch break, then go back into it. And the time that you finish really varies. One day you could finish at 6 p.m, the next day you could finish at 8 p.m, the next day you could finish at 10 p.m. It really just depends on how much work there is to be done and when the deadline is for the deliverable for the client. But I'd say on average, finish time is about 8 hours. The average amount of hours that a consultant works in a week in the UK is 55.5 hours. So it is very intense. Like, it's not a 9 to 5, that's for sure. When I get to the office, I get free breakfast, which is always really nice. We always have like muffins and fruits and yogurts and drinks. Get free drinks throughout the day, free coffees, free hot chocolate, sometimes free snacks, free lunch. So they definitely feed you and try and fatten you up. The next question is, what is consulting? Honestly, this is such a massive question and it's really hard to answer. Consulting is essentially solving different problems that clients present you with. Those clients can be across a range of industries industries like aviation, investment banking, government, tech, digital, like there's such a wide range. The problems can vary as well, from mergers and acquisitions to profitability problems to restructuring their organization. And then we're like the external experts, I guess, that helps them solve those problems. So that's essentially what the job is. I will do a bigger video at some point explaining further, because there's different types of consulting, there's different types of consulting firms that do different things, and I feel like I can go into a lot more detail in another video. Why did you become a consultant? Oh, this is like I'm in an interview, guys. Honestly, I actually just tried it out, and I feel like that's one piece of advice that I'd give, is to be flexible. Like, I didn't know what consulting was when I was at school. I didn't even know what economics was when I was at secondary school, so how could I have said, oh, when I wanted to grow up I wanted to be a consultant? Like, that would just be a lie. I think I just tried things out. When I entered university, I was set on doing politics. I tried out the think tank sector, wasn't really that keen on it at that point in time, and realized that I might want to re-enter politics, but I'd want to do that at a later stage, not this early in my career, because I think it's quite valuable to gain corporate experience first. Naturally, I started looking at consulting and investment banking just because I felt like everyone around me was looking at those things. It's quite typical to look at those areas when you're studying economics, which is what I did. Then I realized that I didn't really have an interest in investment banking, so it was almost like a process of elimination. I went to a lot of consulting insight events through Rare Recruitment. Shout out to Rare. If you guys don't know what that is, check it out. It's really, really helpful when you're trying to figure out what you want to do, and also for gaining experience for when you have those interviews. I went along to these insight events and I was like, this is cool, this seems something that I could rock with. Then I applied for consulting internships in my second year of uni. Was very thankful that I got my internship at my current firm that I'm at now. I was there for 10 weeks and I just absolutely loved it. I think the variety of what I was doing, how much I was actually learning, the fast-paced environment, the people in the office, the culture, the perks, all of these things just contributed to why I wanted to return to the firm and return to consulting. So yeah, I think it's really good. I think it's actually a great career for people that might not have made up their minds on a specific industry that they want to get into, because it gives you so much exposure to so much different things. I never thought that I would be learning the ins and outs of how a plane works in aviation, but I did learn those things when I was on my aviation project. It's pretty cool if you want to gain a lot of knowledge in a lot of areas. The next question is, please CV drop. Don't worry guys, I've got you. I actually will CV drop and like give some CV tips in another video, so subscribe if you would want to see that, and also let me know in the comments. Next question is, what's the weirdest job interview question you've ever been asked? I don't think I've been asked like a weird one, but probably the most thought-provoking one I got asked was, tell us something about you that is not on your CV. That's quite a tricky one because I feel like you do put everything on your CV pretty much. It gave me an opportunity to talk about my background, and I actually spoke about my YouTube channel as well, because that's something that I would never put on my CV. It was an interesting talking point for sure. How do you balance your personal projects with professional responsibilities? Come back to me on this in a few months. I'll make another video on a work-life balance, because I think I'm still trying to put the systems in place to adjust to that and to actually allow myself to have a balance. What I've been doing so far is just trying to have like a routine and have things blocked out in my calendar. I know from a Monday to Friday I'm working, and that's dedicated to work. I won't likely be able to make plans in the evening, so that's literally for work. Then when it comes around to the weekend, my Saturday morning is my hair day, the day that I do my chores. A Saturday evening could be for just chilling or filming content, thinking about content ideas. Sunday morning I have church, and then Sunday evening / late afternoon I film the podcast episodes with Praise. In between, on my commute to work for example, I'll be editing podcast clips or doing actual work stuff. I've been trying to fit it in. It has been a bit tricky so far. I will update you on that soon. Okay, that's all the work and university stuff. Now onto the dating section. There was a lot of questions here, and majority of them, to be honest guys, I can't answer. Some of them were so inappropriate, but I wrote down a few. The first one is, what has been your worst date experience? Oh, that is tricky because I don't really think I've had like an absolutely horrific one, but there was one that sticks out to me as being a bit like I was on a date. I was at a dinner, really nice dinner. He was just like on his phone a lot of the time, which I think is one of my pet peeves. Surprisingly, even though I'm on Instagram a lot and making content, when I'm with people, I don't go on my phone. If you ask any of my friends, I would say, yeah, she actually doesn't really go on it. That is my time to spend with you. And I'm also not really good at multitasking as well, so I'd rather not sit on my phone, because if I'm texting or doing content stuff, then I won't be able to focus on what you're saying. And I also think it's a little bit rude. So yeah, he was like sat on his phone for so long, and I remember even the waiter was looking at me and just probably feeling sorry for me because I was just sat there and I was just like, wow, like how long is this gonna go on for? And I'm pretty sure he was on his phone for about 3 minutes. That was probably my least favorite date, but it wasn't that bad. I have heard worse dating experiences. Do you believe in soulmates? This is a good one. Yeah, I do. I'm still holding on to that idea. I am quite a hopeless romantic. I love all my romances and romance novels. The hopeless romantic in me believes in soulmates. I think we might have multiple soulmates. Maybe there's not only one person out there for you in the entire world. Maybe there's a few. I also feel like everything happens for a reason. People come into your life for a reason as well. So I'm very like, I don't know what the word is, spiritual in that sense. How do you balance your personal life and dating with your busy schedule? To be honest, I've not really had to do that. I've been in my job for a couple of weeks. I've not had to balance dating with my job because I'm not dating anyone right now. This is like so TMI. You guys just want to know my life. The tea is I'm not dating right now, so I've not really had to balance anything. I think I would just really struggle, to be honest. My job is extremely demanding. I have all these goals that I want to hit with my content, so it would be quite tricky to do that. But when I was at university, in terms of balancing it, I think it's about managing expectations and communication. For me, it's important to date someone that understands that you can't give them your energy 24/7. You've got other things that you need to do, whether that's like getting your degree, doing your A-levels, working, content, all these different goals that you might have. If your partner respects you and actually wants to see you happy and wants to see you achieve those goals, then they should support you in that sense. But I am not a dating guru, guys. I'm really not, so don't take my advice. Next one is, do you believe in dating apps? Oh, guys, I've dibbled and I've dabbled in the world of dating apps and Hinge and everything like that. It's just not for me. I did actually give it a try. I was on there for a while, but I ended up deleting them all because it just frustrated me. A lot of the time, the conversations there were quite shallow. The hopeless romantic in me wants a meet cute where we meet in person and we bump into each other at the library or something. I don't know. I don't think it's for me, but I wouldn't say that I don't believe in them though, because I actually know people where it's actually really worked out for them and they've met someone really great there. It definitely can work. Next section is beauty, and someone asked, what is my curly hair routine? I actually switched my hair routine recently because, as you can see, I've got bangs now. Let me know if you like the new cut. I'm definitely loving it. I now use products by collab. Should I just go get them? Bear with. Okay guys, I'm committed to not gatekeeping. Look at this. So I recently started using the collab products. I think they're really great. I use the soft leave-in cream and then the all-weather styling gel. Have a look, screenshot it, add it to your list. I'll actually do like a video on this, but I section my hair into loads of sections and then I put the product through with my hands and then I comb it through with a tangle teaser in all of the sections. I section my hair into probably about 6 or 7 sections and then I do that. And when it gets to the front where my fringe is, that's when I section it about here and I bring my hair forward and comb it forward, which I feel like helps to add volume. Then I scrunch in mousse. I just use this mousse from Boots. I don't really use a particular one and I feel like that just helps hold all the product in. Then I'll flip my head upside down and I'll diffuse, and then I use like an argan oil after it's been diffused and I just use that to help separate the curls. That lasts me like an entire 7 days of my hair just looking curly. Then I will put my hair in a bonnet when I go to sleep and a pineapple on the top of my head. On a day-to-day, I use this olive oil spray. It's actually for braids, but I just use it anyway. I use that to just like refresh my hair from time to time. My hair mask that I use, which I do this like once every 2 weeks just because there's obviously bleach in my hair, so it's important to take care of it. Sheer Moisture Intensive Hydration Mask with Manuka oil, and this is really good. I like this, and I also really like hair mayonnaise as a hair mask too. So there we go. The next question is, what skincare products do I use? I can't be bothered to run to my bathroom again and grab them all, so I'm just going to tell you. I use the Inculus Salicylic Acid face wash, and then I use a normal tea tree wash from Superdrug or Boots, and I alternate between the two because I think the salicylic acid is a bit too harsh to use on your face all the time, so it's important to have a soft cleanser. Then I've recently started using this spot gel that my lash tech actually recommended me by Dr. Sam, the Flawless Neutralizing Gel, and this is like dermatologically tested. She's a dermatologist, but I don't want to recommend this yet. Give me like a few months, guys, to see if this is actually working. And I also use this eye cream as well. That's really good for like helping like brighten your under eyes. And I use just any standard moisturizer. So I'm using this one from L'Oreal at the moment that's got vitamin C in it. I really keep my skin routine really basic and simple. Just literally face wash, moisturizer, SPF. Otherwise I'll break out. Like my skin is not really that good. It's a bit better now, but it's not great. The next category is content. Do you ever get hate comments online? Not really, no. I've been quite lucky. At TikTok I've had a few little random trolls, but on YouTube I've never had any. YouTube is such a nice community, but that doesn't mean to start commenting them because I probably will cry. Why did you start a podcast? I wanted to start a podcast because I felt like I got to a point where I was really privileged to have a large network of successful people around me, and I really wanted to share their stories, because I know when I was younger the thing that I struggled with was not having role models in top industries or in any careers at all, to be honest. That would have been extremely helpful for me when I was at that age. Sometimes you just need to plug in and listen to people that look like you, sound like you, and are successful, because it will motivate you, and also it will tell you the tangible steps to get to that career. So that's why I started it with Praise. What's been my favorite podcast episode so far? I think it's actually really hard to choose. One of my favorite guest ones is with Reggie Nelson. He's a great guy and it was just a great episode. Also the one with Rory was really good too, where we spoke about men's mental health and childhood trauma. In terms of the solo ones, the Valentine's episode was actually really good and probably one of my faves. We were just delving into self-love and all those things. Yeah, it's really hard to pick one favorite. Will you stop making videos when you start working? No, I won't, and this is evidence that I won't, because I have been in my job for a few weeks now. Why does my arm look so long? And I'm still filming. I think it might slow down naturally because my job is so demanding, but that's why I've actually outsourced editing now, which you might have heard me mention a few times, to one of my good friends who is now taking over my editing. Hello, Sheila. Hello. I'm excited to see how that goes, and it should hopefully help free up more of my time to actually film stuff. What advice would you give someone starting their own podcast or YouTube channel? Be brave and to just upload. The amount of people that come up to me and tell me that they've really been wanting to start content and they have so many ideas, and that's the same thing that I always say to them. Just know that the first video you upload, it's not going to be perfect. You have to almost let go of that perfectionism if you're going to start making content. Know that you have to start from somewhere and it will always get better. When I look back at my channel and I watch my first couple of videos, it's absolutely rubbish. Like the quality of the editing softwares that I was using, the audio, the visuals, the color grading, all these things, and even just how I was speaking as well was not as fluent. But it's all a process, and you have to start from somewhere to get to where you are now, and then you'll still improve and improve and improve. It is a learning experience. You never know where it could take you. It is genuinely really fun as well. I do describe content as being my hobby. Start that podcast, start that YouTube channel, just hit upload and start from somewhere. Who would be your dream collab? That is a really good question. I would probably say Taylor Bell. She is like my biggest YouTube inspiration. She was a consultant in New York. She recently quit consulting to do YouTube full time, and I think she's a great person. Her content is incredible. She's really funny and really sweet, so she would probably be my dream collab, but there's definitely quite a few creators that I would love to work with. How do you edit? I use Final Cut Pro currently. I used to use iMovie, so you don't need to buy an expensive editing software to get started, but I started using Final Cut Pro because I felt like I hit the limit of how good I could edit with iMovie and wanted to learn more. Final Cut Pro is one of those things where it is quite a steep learning curve at the start, but then once you get the hang of it, it's just so incredible and there's so much you can do with it. I've mentioned I've now outsourced editing, but I probably will still be editing some of my videos. The next category is my jaw surgery. The first question is, was your surgery painful? Yeah, it definitely was painful. I will say it wasn't as painful as I expected or anticipated, considering how intense the procedure is. It's literally them breaking my whole jaw, removing it, pulling it forward, screwing it back in. You would think that would insane level of pain, but it actually wasn't as bad as I thought. The main feelings that I had was nausea nausea, feeling run down and weak rather than actual throbbing pains. It was grim. Those days were definitely dark days, but it was nowhere near as bad as I thought it would be. What advice would you give to someone considering a similar surgery? Do your research and trust your gut instinct. If this is something that you want to do, then do it. Another question I got asked was how my friends and family reacted to my decision. A lot of them are really scared. When you have loved ones, they are going to be scared by you doing something massive like that. But as long as you've done your research and you're sure that you want to do it, like, trust your gut and do what you want to do at the end of the day, because it affects you, it affects your health, it affects your confidence, it affects, in my case, it affected the way that I eat, the way that I breathed, all these different things. And no one else has to deal with those consequences or those insecurities but you. So do it for yourself, don't do it for others, and just do your research is what I would say. I have no regrets about doing it at all, and I'm really grateful that I did. There's 2 questions here that I put in a random category because I really didn't know where to fit them. The first one is tattoo tour. Surprise, surprise, I actually got some tattoos after graduating. Can you see that? That's the first one. A few of my friends make jokes and say that it looks like a mockingjay, which honestly I'm kind of digging. I love the Hunger Games. I'm literally looking at the books right now, so that is quite a cool meaning. I got this after my surgery and it symbolizes resilience and strength. It's a phoenix, so it's the idea of being reborn from the ashes. For me, it really linked to my jaw surgery and a lot of things that I've overcome in my life, so I really like that tattoo. I like the meaning, I like how it looks. Then I can't actually show you the other ones, to be honest. I have another one here on my rib cage and that says blessed. I think it's just a reminder of how blessed I have been throughout life and the blessings that I've had and that I'm so grateful for. And then I have one on my thigh that says art. To be honest, there wasn't really much of a reasoning behind that one. I just got it because I liked it and I thought the word was cute. I have more tattoo ideas, so there'll probably be more added to the tour. I really want to get one on my shoulder here, a little solar system that my family will draw each individual part to, and then I'll combine it and make it a tattoo. No regrets about my tattoos.
That's my credo, no regrets.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? I actually have quite a quick answer to this question because I've thought about this quite a lot. Mine would be to control time, and the reason why is because one of my favorite games on the PlayStation is Life is Strange. If you've played it, let me know actually in the comments because not that many people know about it. The main character in Life is Strange can control time, so she can go backwards, not forwards, but she can go backwards and then she can change things and then she can go back to the current time. It does seem like a lot of responsibility, but I think I would use it in a very irresponsible sense to get a lie in or figure out the right answers to something, or maybe the right investment decisions and things like that. Either that or invisibility. But yeah, this has been quite a jam-packed video. I've tried to get through those questions as quick as I can. I hope you enjoyed this and that you nosy people out there have been satisfied. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and stick around longer. Become a part of the community. I hope you have a lovely week and yeah, bye.